What's the one thing all human beings want from their lives?
Be successful.
Successful.
Money.
Money. Why do you want money?
So I can be like, have a big house and do what I want.
Okay, and what would having a big house and doing what you want bring you?
Happiness, because I feel like I've succeeded in life.
Would make you happy, yes?
Be happy and do what you want.
Be happy.
I want to be famous.
Want to be famous? Okay, that's fine. Why do you want to be famous?
No, I just feel like I'm someone who should be famous.
No, but what would being famous bring you? By the way,
Money.
money. And what would having money and being famous bring you?
Happiness.
Right. Okay.
Money to buy shoes.
Shoes. And buying shoes would
Make us happy.
happy.
Money.
Money because
Happiness.
okay.
Fame.
Because
Attention.
no. Listen. This is I admire your honesty because that's how our minds work. He's not unique, you understand? He speaks for all of us. Sorry, so attention.
And then happiness.
And okay, so what do you think having attention and fame and money will bring you?
Well, if you have attention and people watching you all the time, you have people to do things for, and people to do things for you.
Okay. So people will do things for you, you'll have attention that make you happy, yes?
Sense of completion,
Okay. Like, give me an example.
like have a really good career.
Okay. So accomplishment, some
Yeah.
sort of ambition to do something.
Just a massive house.
Why?
I'll be mint.
Why? What would having a big house bring you?
Happiness.
Happiness, okay.
A happy family.
A happy family, okay.
To make others happy.
Okay. Why?
Because it makes me happy.
Okay.
And make a difference in what.
Have you got a subject called happiness in your curriculum at all? But it's the one thing all of you want, right? Do you understand? So shall we explore that subject?
Yeah.
That's an interesting subject to explore, isn't it? Okay. Why then, if every human being wants to be happy, why are we so unhappy as human beings?
It's not that easy. It's like problems in life.
Okay. For example, okay, let's talk about problems. What problems do we face in life that can make us unhappy?
Wars.
Wars,
People around you being unhappy.
people around you. You can't be happy if others around you are unhappy, yes?
Like death in your family.
No, it's
Why is it hard or not easy?
because you can't just be happy. There's like problems, like money problems.
Money, okay.
It's like stress in general.
Stress in general makes us unhappy, right?
Pressure
Pressure, give me an example.
from school.
Schools, yeah? No.
Yeah.
It's fair enough.
And your workload.
Workload, yeah?
The way other people around you treat you.
Yes.
Just the way you're judged by everyone else.
Right, the way you're judged by others. What other people think of us
Yeah.
is a big cause of unhappiness, right? All these things that make us happy now, what are the things that kind of make your family, going around the world, money, all these things make us happy now, you think? How long does that pleasure last
Not long.
from the thing that we've got, that we wanted?
When you just want something else straight away. It's just
So let's explore that a bit more. So say you're going on holiday. Say you're going on holiday in a month's time. How long will the pleasure last? When will it begin? When will it end?
It'll begin like now because of the excitement.
Right.
And then when it's done, then it's just over.
It's over.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
Doesn't last forever. I feel like if you're going on holiday, once you've been on holiday, you're not excited about going on holiday anymore because it's gone.
What about Christmas presents? Does that make you happy? Yeah? How long does the pleasure from that last?
Like during December and then like a couple of weeks after.
Okay, so maybe 2 weeks after. Anyone else?
till like Boxing Day.
Boxing Day,
Yeah.
Christmas presents. Are you all old enough to have boyfriends and girlfriends now? We all kind of started that journey. Okay. It's fine. It's normal, Young people do. We all do that. When you meet someone for the first time, the initial excitement is amazing, isn't it? Right? But even that pleasure fades after a while. Right? Do you notice that?
That's on facts.
Yeah? You notice that?
Yeah.
Right? It's the same with a Christmas present, exam result, holiday, new car, whatever it is you want in life. See what I mean? The mind has this illusion that thing I want is going to give me pleasure or happiness forever. Right? But you've already seen in your own lives right now that the pleasure from anything doesn't last forever. That's just the way the mind is wired. Not yours or mine, it's just the human mind is wired that way. Do you understand? We're learning together. How does the mind feel once the pleasure ends? So when you get something and it's over, how do we feel inside?
Like bored or like
Bored? Okay, anything else?
You want something else?
You want something else, but how do you feel before you want something else?
Disheartened.
Disheartened?
bored.
Bored?
It's the thing you want, you've got. So you need like something else to like now chase after.
Okay, you need something else to chase after. Okay.
A standstill, really.
You feel at a standstill, disheartened, bored, anything else you feel? What do we feel? Sorry?
You look back on it
Look back on it, okay.
as a memory.
Memory. You could store it as a memory and look back on it, yes.
Sad.
Sad. Bored. Is there a feeling of like emptiness?
Yeah.
Would we all say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, emptiness. So once that pleasure's over and we feel bored, then what do we need to do next?
Find something new.
Find something new. Okay? But how is it different this time?
Because you've already got the thing that you want, so now you want something different maybe.
Different or,
You know what I expect.
sorry,
Something better.
better? In what way better?
Because you already know what that sense of completion is like, so you want to top that next time.
Right. That the extent of the emptiness I feel, or the boredom, whatever word you want to use doesn't matter. To a large extent depends on the extent of the pleasure I've just experienced. Do you understand? Right? So the greater the pleasure, the greater the emptiness. I mean, if you, for example, do research gold medal winning Olympic athletes, after their big high, there's a huge crash. Okay, so now you're this A-list celebrity, for example, or you're a millionaire, or you won the lottery, whatever it is you've done. You're feeling this great void, emptiness. What can you do to fill it now? What can you do?
Well, I feel like you can only either do nothing and just have to deal with that feeling. Find something new to chase, because it's more about trying to get something and
Right.
like the way you get it more than actually having it.
Right.
Or you can just reminisce on what you had and be happy about that.
Okay. Now there's another thing that all human beings do. What are the other sources of pleasure that we have besides buying a new pair of shoes and another gold medal or another $1 million?
Other people.
Other people, new relationships maybe. So I'm married to you for 10 years, I'm a bit bored, the pleasure's gone. But it happens, this is what happens, right? This is what happens. If you don't understand the nature of pleasure, it's happening in the background, you understand? It's driving your life without you understanding that this is what's happening. So it could make you find a new relationship, but you want something bigger and better, you said, right? So what about drugs or alcohol? Right now, it may be not on your radar. I don't know, but it's a huge problem out there. Okay, and one of the reasons is what we're discussing here.
Because you get pleasure.
You get pleasure, right?
Like escape reality.
Yes.
Helps to cope with.
And like sometimes people take like drugs, people drink because they can't actually handle the truth,
Yes.
accept the truth. So they
They
take
can't
drugs to
accept the void, the emptiness they feel, the boredom, right? Or as a reaction to some stressful event in their life. Right? And then, so you're all at a party and everyone's having fun and someone says, oh, try this, whatever it is, doesn't matter. And those guys who are trying it seem to be having a lot of fun. So we could say, without realizing it, because, oh, I want a bit of that, right?
Like trying to chase the sense of being full and happy.
That's right. See what I mean? You chase the sense of the pleasure. Right? Okay, so now someone gives you something for free. Hey, try this, whatever it is. And then what happens? You get this great high.
You get a low.
And then what happens?
You get a low.
And then what do you need?
More.
You need more, right?
And you're addicted.
Before you know it, you're addicted. Right? See? We're being driven by this need for pleasure. All the things you mentioned in the beginning that you wanted from your life, right? All of them, in the end, are about pleasure. Whether it's being famous or whatever it is, it's about pleasure. Do you understand? That feeling of being good, it's not wrong. We're not saying anything is right or wrong. We're just exploring the way the mind works and asking, how can we live with intelligence? Okay. That's the question. In the middle of the room, how can we live with intelligence? And we can only live with intelligence if we understand what's happening. Okay? So that's one of the implications of pleasure, which is that it can lead to addiction. Whether it's alcohol or drugs. What are the other addictions that we know of that are common?
Social media.
Social media,
Maybe gambling or a money addiction, wanting more money.
wanting more money, gambling. So wanting more money can lead you into gambling, can't it? Anything else? What are the other things we get addicted to?
Food.
Sorry?
Food.
Food? What is that? What can that cause?
Obesity.
Obesity. Right? So if you don't know this, and you eat some food, you need a bit more, and it goes on and on, you understand? Before you know it, you're overweight. And you're not even aware how you got to that point. You see? We're not saying pleasure is wrong at all. We're saying understanding how it's working in the background allows us to live with intelligence. Right? What are the other implications of this need for pleasure, which is in all human beings? So, I'll give you an example. So suppose all of us want to keep buying more and more, because you buy one pair of shoes, you want another pair, right? And another one, right? Keep going on. So everyone develops their own particular sources of pleasure, right? For some it's books, I like books, some it's shoes, car, could be anything. What impact is that having on the planet? Yeah. We're just exploring. What impact does this unknown need for pleasure that we have inside us as human
It's
beings?
negative.
Sorry?
It's wasteful.
It's wasteful, okay. What else is what are the other impact it's having on the earth?
Killing planet, really bad.
How?
Because there's we need for food and water and plastic containers and stuff and the litter and plastic in the oceans and stuff and wildfires and stuff.
Right.
And the fast fashion industry.
Yeah.
That's just it's just unnecessary pollution.
And stuff.
Global warming.
There we are. Right? Do you see that clearly? everybody. You know? That we are, because of this need that we have for pleasure, because of our own inner boredom, our inner emptiness, whatever, which we're not even aware of. All we know is that we want the next thing and the next thing. So that's what's driving consumption, right? There's an article in The Guardian, just look it up. 11,000 scientists got together and penned a letter saying the climate catastrophe is being, the biggest contributor is consumption. Right? So you see the answer. So what is the intelligent way to respond? Now we've learned something new. Hopefully, we learned something. Yeah. So how can my mind respond with intelligence? I use that word intelligence in terms of inner intelligence, not in terms of how clever you are at memorizing and repeating things in an exam, which is meaningless. But intelligent as in how intelligent you are as a human being, how aware you are of what's happening in your own thinking and the implications of that for your own life and the world. Right? So how can we respond to this, what we've learned with intelligence? What can we do?
Set limitations.
So just speak up.
Set limitations for like how much we do.
Okay, so for example,
Like if you are buying like certain things, like you set limitations to the amount you buy.
okay,
And like you said, the effects.
think of the effects. Yeah. What can we do to respond with intelligence?
Find alternative,
Sorry, one at a time. Yes, sir?
find alternative means of pleasure.
Right. Right. For example,
Just being with friends.
friends. Right? Because it's the number one problem you are going to face. Do you see what I mean? Now, if I come to you and say, you can't buy those shoes, or you can only go on one holiday every 5 years, or you can't change your car, you got one, that's it for the rest of your life, how would we react to that?
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
You'd say fair enough? What would the rest of the population say?
You're quite
No.
shocked. Like,
No, I think
yeah.
it was like in a nice way tell you to do one.
Correct? Right?
You can't do that.
They won't. What I'm trying to say is, if the pressure comes from outside, we are resistant. But if our intelligence is woken up on the inside, and we change from the inside, you understand? Right?
is it like
Yeah.
what you can do as like an individual to change?
Correct. Inside. Right? And the change begins by being aware of what's happening. That's all you need to do. Right? Right? Now, why do we all want to be happy?
Because
Why not?
Hang on.
It feels
Okay,
good.
one at a time. Why do we want to be happy? Yes. Yes.
It's good to be happy. If you're happy, you feel like life's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you want to be happy because you're not happy right now?
Yeah.
We have to begin with finding a way to be at peace with our own inner boredom, which we all feel. Do you understand? Right?
I think it's impossible to be at peace with your inner boredom though, because whether you're at peace with it or not, you're still going to be bored. Like, you can tell yourself that you're humble and that you're alright with whatever you've got, and that you're going to always be happy, like when you've got good friends and stuff. But you're still going to want more, like whether you should or not, you're going to want to have whatever you can.
Okay, so that honesty is really refreshing because that's the way the human mind is wired right now. I'm challenging that. We all need to challenge that for ourselves. Do you understand? Don't accept that this is because the way it's always been, that it can't change. Do you understand?
Like a social construct.
Yeah. Right? And remember, you individually can be revolutionaries. You can change the future of this planet. You can change the future of this world. So all I'm saying is, don't accept the status quo. It's first good to begin with that, And then ask yourself, is that intelligent? Right? Is that an intelligent way to live? That I'm never at peace with myself. I'm always wanting something more. And as soon as I get it, I lose interest. I'm bored again. I want something more. Right? In the process, it's leading to obesity, addiction, destroying the planet. I've got no peace in my life. Is that intelligent? Do you understand? Right? See what I mean?
You want to look at the big picture.
I'm just saying, understand how your own mind works. That's going to awaken your own intelligence. And that intelligence will bring its own change, whatever it is. Right? You understand?